Let's be clear, when a narcissist hurts you, it's not by accident. It's a strategy. They want power, they want control, and most of all, they want your reaction because your pain feeds their ego. So, the minute you understand that, you stop taking their behavior personally, and you start seeing it for what it really is, manipulation. They hurt you, and your first instinct is to react. Maybe you want to scream. Maybe you want to fire back with the truth, expose them, tell the world what they did. And I get it, that reaction. It's human, it's natural. You've been manipulated, gaslit, blamed, made to feel like you're the crazy one. And after everything you gave, your time, your energy, your love, they hit you with betrayal or silence or cruelty so sharp it cuts right through your soul. But here's what I need you to understand right now. That reaction, that emotional outburst, that's exactly what they're fishing for. See, a narcissist doesn't just want attention. They want control and they get it through your emotions. Your anger, your heartbreak, your confusion, it's all fuel. The more you react, the more they feel powerful. It confirms their illusion that they can still push your buttons, still take up space in your mind, still own a part of you. That's the game they play. And the truth is, they don't care about what's right or fair or how much they've hurt you. They care about staying in control. So every time you react, you hand them more of your power. You're unknowingly stepping onto their chessboard, playing their game, by their rules. But you want to confuse them, you want to throw them completely off their game. Here's what you do, nothing. You stop reacting, you stop explaining, you stop defending your side of the story to someone who was never listening in the first place. You don't beg, you don't break down, you don't send one more text, one more voice note, one more emotionally charged message explaining how much they hurt you. Because let me tell you something they already know. That was the point. Instead, I want you to get still. Be quiet, go silent. Do not engage that silence. It's not weakness, it's strength. It's your comeback. It's what happens when you stop giving someone the satisfaction of seeing you unravel. And let me tell you, nothing, and I mean nothing, confuses a narcissist more than a person who refuses to play the victim, refuses to play the villain, and just walks away without a word. You know why silence is so powerful? Because narcissists need a reaction to feel real. They don't operate in truth. They operate in performance. And when you don't react, they have no scene to act in, no mirror to reflect back their drama. It starves the ego. It confuses the narrative, and most importantly, it protects you because silence isn't just a tactic, it's a boundary. It's saying, I no longer grant you access to my energy, and that's the moment the power dynamic shifts. Now, I'm not saying silence will be easy. It won't. You're going to want to defend yourself. You're going to feel the pull to prove your worth, to get closure, to make them understand. But they won't. And every time you go back trying to make them see your pain, all you're doing is opening the door again to someone who's already shown you they're not safe. Close it, lock it, walk away. The silence is for you. It's how you reclaim your clarity. It's how you get your nervous system to calm down. Because when you're not reacting, you're thinking clearly, you're observing instead of absorbing, and from that place that space of strength and stability, you get to choose your next move. Not from emotion, from intention. So the next time they come for you with a jab, with a passive-aggressive comment, with that smug tone or that fake apology meant to bait you, don't bite. Don't match their energy. Don't shrink. Don't explode. Just breathe. Ground yourself. Say nothing. And if you must speak, make it short, make it calm, and get out, Because when a narcissist hurts you, the most confusing thing you can do, the thing that makes them spin, is refuse to give them the performance they expect. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of dignity. It's full of strength. And it's full of one very clear message, asterisk, you no longer control me. Asterisk, you ever notice how a narcissist will twist everything you say? You tell them how you feel, and suddenly you're too sensitive. You call out their behavior, and now asterisk, you're asterisk the problem. You try to walk away, and they act like asterisk, you're asterisk the one abandoning them. It's a trap every single time. And here's the truth, they're not looking for connection. They're looking for control. So when you finally find the strength to stand up for yourself, they don't listen, they launch. They come at you with insults, guilt trips, fake tears, or charm you with that slick apology laced with manipulation. Because they don't want resolution. They want reaction. So you want to confuse them. Stop reacting the way they expect. Start mirroring their behavior, asterisk, not asterisk, to play games, not to stoop to their level, but to show them you see right through it. Stay calm, stay clear when they try to gaslight you and say, you're overreacting. You say, I see what you're doing, period. That's it. No yelling, no explaining, just a calm reflection of what's really going on. That moment of composure. That's a move they don't know how to handle, because narcissists expect chaos. When you don't give them chaos, when you hold the mirror up without emotion, it forces them to face their own reflection. And they can't stand it. You don't need to attack. You don't need to sink to their level. That's not power, it's panic. Real power is when you look them dead in the eye and say, this conversation isn't respectful, so I'm leaving now. Then actually asterisk, leave asterisk. That's the play, that's the shift, because now you're not reacting, you're asterisk responding. Asterisk, you're not caught in the storm. You're standing outside of it with an umbrella and a plan. Let me tell you, when you stay calm in the face of someone who's trying to push all your buttons, you become untouchable. Not cold, not heartless, just asterisk done asterisk. That kind of quiet strength, it rattles them because it tells them asterisk, you don't have the same access to me anymore. Asterisk, they will push harder at first. They'll escalate. They'll try to suck you back in with accusations or even compliments. That's how narcissistic people test your boundaries. They pretend to respect them, only to turn around and violate them the second you relax. And this is where most people slip. They think, maybe this time it's different. Maybe they asterisk do asterisk see me now. But hear me, real change shows up in asterisk consistent asterisk action, not crisis apologies. Don't fall for the bait. When someone's hurting you over and over, and your peace only returns when asterisk you asterisk pull away, that's not love. That's manipulation. So here's the move, mirror the behavior, but with composure. Let them see what they're doing by calmly calling it out. And then you walk away. You don't keep the conversation going. You don't rehash. You don't try to make them understand something they're committed to denying. Every time you respond without emotion, every time you exit without a meltdown, you're sending a message they don't expect. Asterisk, I don't need your approval to feel okay. Asterisk, and that's what confuses them the most, because narcissists build their identity on being the one in control. When you take that control back, not by fighting, but by asterisk detaching asterisk, you throw off their entire strategy. They don't know what to do with someone who doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't chase. And listen, this isn't about being petty. This isn't about winning. It's about protecting your peace. When you stop trying to get validation from someone who can only offer manipulation, you start validating yourself. And from that place, asterisk, that asterisk grounded, powerful place, you stop trying to convince them of your worth and start living like you already know it. So the next time they try to bait you into a reaction, don't rise to it. Don't match their energy. Stay calm. Stay clear. Mirror the game, then leave the table. Asterisk, that's how you end their control without ever raising your voice. You ever try arguing with a narcissist? It's like trying to wrestle smoke. No matter what you say, they twist it. They turn it back on you. They lie, deny, deflect. And suddenly you're questioning your own reality. You walk away more confused than when you started. That's not an accident. That's the strategy. The goal isn't resolution. The goal is domination. And when you're all fired up, yelling, crying, pleading, that's when they know they've got you. Because now you're reacting. Now they've got your full emotional attention. They're the center of your world again. And to someone like that, that's the win. But you want to do something that really gets to them. Something that doesn't just block the manipulation, but actually confuses the hell out of them. Go quiet, emotionally, verbally, energetically. Step into what I call gray rock mode. Be boring, be neutral. Be unshakable. You answer with short, calm responses. Okay, got it, noted. No emotion, no fire. No fuel. You become the most uninterested, unshakable version of yourself. Not because you don't care, but because you finally care about yourself more. It sounds simple, right? But it's hard because everything in you wants to defend your truth. Everything in you wants to scream, "Why are you doing this to me?" But the problem is, they want that scream. That meltdown, that explosion, that's what tells them they are still inside your head, that they still matter. The silence, the calm, the complete refusal to play their game. That's what they don't know how to handle. And let me tell you, at first, they will hate it. You'll get accused of being cold. You'll get baited with drama. They'll say things like, "You've changed," or "You're so distant now," just to pull you back in, and maybe you'll feel guilty. Maybe you'll feel rude. That's how deep the conditioning runs. But that's not your guilt. It's their discomfort. And their discomfort is not your responsibility. When you go gray rock, you are not being mean. You are being strategic. You are cutting off the oxygen to the chaos. You are setting a boundary without ever needing to explain it. And the moment you do that, something powerful shifts. You stop being a target. You stop being predictable. And for someone who depends on your reactions to feed their ego, that's deeply unsettling. Now here's the real magic. When you go silent, when you stay composed, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You start to see them clearly, without the emotional noise, without the confusion, without the manipulation clouding your vision. You see the patterns, you see the tactics, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when you start to wake up. That's when you start to take your power back, not by fighting harder, but by refusing to engage, and let's be real, they might double down. They might push harder, because a narcissist doesn't just give up when they lose control. They panic. They'll test every boundary you set. They'll try sweet, talking you, guilting you, even pretending to take accountability just to get you to drop your guard. But this time, you don't take the bait, you nod, you smile, you stay calm, you don't argue, you don't defend. You say, "I hear you." Then you move on with your day. They want your breakdown. Give them your boundaries. That neutral tone, that blank expression, that refusal to be drawn into the emotional tornado, it throws them. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you don't care. But the truth is, you care deeply, just not about the performance anymore. You care about your peace. You care about your healing. And if you have to act boring to protect that, so be it. You're not here to be entertaining. You're here to be free. That means no more proving your worth. No more explaining your boundaries. No more letting someone else's dysfunction dictate your day. You want to win against a narcissist. You don't fight, you don't cry, you gray rock your way right out of their grip, because when you stop feeding the fire, it stops burning. You ever notice how a narcissist always seems to ignore your needs until you finally draw a line in the sand, and then they freak out? That's because they don't want boundaries. They want unrestricted access to your emotions, your time, your energy. They expect you to be on call whenever they need a boost to their ego. But here's the thing. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. So when you start tolerating disrespect, you're essentially giving them the green light to walk all over you. And trust me, that's the last thing you want. Because once you let someone treat you poorly, it becomes a pattern. And before you know it, you're scrambling to reclaim pieces of yourself that you thought you'd already lost for good. I'm not talking about building walls so high that no one can reach you. I'm talking about drawing clear, unapologetic lines that say, this is where you end, and I begin. When a narcissist pushes you beyond your comfort zone, they're testing you. They want to know how far they can go before you snap. And if you've spent years trying to keep the peace, trying to avoid conflict, they've probably pushed you to the brink without even realizing how close you were to cracking. But you know what? You have to wake up and realize that every boundary you set is not a sign of weakness. It's a declaration of self-respect. Imagine that someone in your life consistently disrespects you. Maybe it's through insults. Maybe it's through ignoring your feelings. Maybe it's through gaslighting you into believing you're the problem, and then one day you look them straight in the eye and say, I'm not tolerating that behavior anymore. That moment when you speak with unwavering certainty, that's seismic. They'll recoil, they'll argue, they'll try to guilt trip you into backing down. But here's the secret. If you stand firm, they'll learn quickly that you've changed the game. And once you've changed the game, they have to recalibrate their approach or quickly realize that they're not going to win anymore. Now, let me be clear. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you become cold or hostile. You can still be compassionate, just not to your own detriment. You can still care about the other person, just not at the expense of your emotional well-being. It's about balance. You're saying, I acknowledge there's a relationship here, but I also acknowledge that I deserve to be treated with dignity. And for someone who's used to getting whatever they want whenever they want it, that acknowledgement sounds like rebellion. It's confusing to them because they've never had to respect anyone else's needs before. Picture this. The narcissist throws one of their classic tantrums. Maybe they yell. Maybe they threaten to cut you off. Maybe they become passive, aggressive. They're expecting you to cower, to apologize, to cater to their whims. But instead, you respond with something simple like, I understand you're upset, but I will not engage until this conversation is respectful, and then you walk away. That moment of calm, unwavering resolve, it's like kryptonite to them, because they realize that their old tactics aren't going to work on you anymore. They need your chaos to feel powerful. When you refuse to provide it, you rob them of their most potent weapon. You might worry, won't they just push harder? And yeah, they might. They might escalate their behavior in a desperate attempt to break you. But that's not a sign you did something wrong. That's a sign you're finally setting a boundary that matters. It's when you flinch, when you apologize, when you cave in. That's when they win. So you have to steel yourself. Remind yourself that every time you reinforce that boundary, you become stronger. You're literally retraining your nervous system to understand that disrespect is not an option, that manipulation is not an option, and that your peace is non-negotiable. And here's the beauty of it. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes. At first, your heart might race. You might feel guilty or anxious. But after a while, your boundaries become second nature. You end conversations when you need to. You refuse to engage in blame games. You sleep better at night because you're not carrying the weight of someone else's toxicity. You reclaim your energy, your time, and your mental space. And as you grow into this version of yourself, this unapologetically boundaried, confident version, you'll notice something amazing. People who truly respect you will step forward, and those who don't simply won't stick around. The point isn't to punish the narcissist. The point is to protect yourself. Because once you prioritize your own well-being, you'll never have to question your worth again. You'll never have to wonder whether you deserve to be treated with kindness. You'll never have to justify why you walked away. You'll simply know that refusing to tolerate disrespect isn't a favor to anyone. It's a declaration of who you are and what you stand for. And that declaration, it's the most powerful thing you can offer yourself. Stand firm. Refuse to tolerate BS. You know what the most powerful moment is after dealing with a narcissist? It's not when you get the last word. It's not when you finally call them out. It's when you realize you don't need to respond anymore. That moment when their chaos no longer shakes you, that's the shift. That's when you reclaim your power and start living in peace. And here's what nobody tells you. Your peace confuses them. It scares them, because a narcissist thrives on control, and peace is the one thing they can't manufacture, fake, or manipulate. See, when you've spent months or even years being emotionally tugged around by someone who uses your empathy as a weapon, you start to believe that constant drama is just a normal part of a relationship, but it's not. That noise, that confusion, that exhaustion, that's not love, that's survival mode. And your nervous system gets so used to living in crisis that calm feels unnatural at first. But once you experience that peace, even just a moment of it, it's like taking a deep breath after being underwater for too long. You realize how much space that person was taking up in your mind. You realize how much of your energy was going toward anticipating their moods, decoding their words, managing their reactions. And then all at once you see it for what it is, control disguised as connection. So how do you reclaim that peace and power for good? You start by making a decision. I will no longer live in emotional reaction to someone else's dysfunction. You stop trying to fix them. You stop trying to win their approval. You stop waiting for closure from someone who isn't capable of giving it. Instead, you give yourself that closure. You choose to validate your own experience. You choose to trust your instincts. You choose to say, even if they never acknowledge what they did, I still get to heal. That's where your power starts to come back. And listen, reclaiming your power isn't about becoming hard or guarded. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving anything. It's about no longer letting someone else's brokenness define your self-worth. It's about finally realizing, I don't have to participate in this cycle anymore. You walk away not to punish them, but to protect you, and that's a shift they don't expect, because they're used to you coming back. They're used to the tears, the texts, the second chances. But when you go quiet, when you stop playing the game entirely, that's when the control breaks. And let me say this, it's okay if you're not there yet. It takes time to untangle yourself from a toxic pattern. You've been conditioned to question yourself, to downplay your pain, to rationalize their behavior. But that's not your voice talking. That's the residue of manipulation. And every time you choose not to reach out, not to engage, not to reopen that door, you're cleaning that residue off layer by layer. It doesn't have to happen all at once. It just has to start. You want to confuse a narcissist? Start living well. Not performatively, not for show, but for you. Start sleeping through the night because your mind isn't spinning in self-doubt. Start laughing again because you're not walking on eggshells. Start reconnecting with the parts of yourself they made you feel ashamed of. Because here's the thing, they never actually had the power to take those parts of you. They just convinced you to dim them. But now you turn them back on. You reconnect with your passions. You rebuild your confidence. You stop asking, was I the problem? And start asking, what did this teach me about what I will never accept again? And maybe they'll try to come back. They'll test the waters, a casual message, a comment, a breadcrumb to see if you'll chase it. But this time you don't bite, because you're not the same person anymore. You've changed. You're rooted. You've found peace. And you're not willing to give it up for anyone who hasn't earned the right to be in your life. That calm, that clarity, that strength you now walk with, it speaks louder than any words ever could. And the best part, you don't need them to understand it. You don't need them to agree. You're not living your life for their recognition anymore. You're living it for you, because the moment you decide you are worthy of peace, no matter who refuses to give it to you, is the moment you become completely untouchable. That's how you take your power back and never give it away again. You want to know what really throws a narcissist off balance. It's not yelling. It's not calling them out in public. It's not some clever comeback. It's your growth. It's when you start living your life in a way that doesn't revolve around their chaos. When you rise above the pain they caused and start investing in yourself. That's what confuses them, because narcissists are experts at getting inside your head. But what they can't understand, what they never expect, is your evolution. They expect you to stay stuck. That's part of their whole control dynamic. They believe if they keep you second, guessing yourself, doubting your worth, and chasing their approval, they can keep you exactly where they want you, beneath them. They don't actually want to see you move on, be happy, or, God forbid, thrive. And when you do, when you actually start rebuilding from the wreckage they left behind, that's the kind of power shift they can't handle. Here's the thing about growth. It doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes it's small, quiet, invisible from the outside. It looks like choosing peace over conflict. It looks like going to therapy and unpacking your pain instead of burying it. It looks like blocking their number and not feeling guilty. It looks like being able to look at yourself in the mirror and actually like the person staring back at you. That kind of healing. It's not for show. It's for you. And it's the most confusing thing in the world to someone who thought they broke you. See, narcissists are used to emotional dependency. They want you to need them even after they've hurt you. They want you to obsess over them even after they've walked away. And so, when you stop chasing, when you stop playing the game, when you start showing up differently, that throws them. It interrupts the loop. They expect their absence to devastate you. But instead, you're growing, you're reading books, you're journaling, you're building healthy friendships, you're rediscovering the version of yourself that existed before the manipulation took root. And more than anything, you're learning how to trust yourself again. That inner work, that's the real win. Because narcissists don't just mess with your emotions, they mess with your identity. They tear down your confidence little by little. They make you question your instincts, your memories, your sanity. So when you start reestablishing that trust within yourself, when you begin to listen to your gut again and honor your needs, that's the revolution. That's the real glow up, and it's one they can't copy, fake, or control. Now let me be real. your growth won't always feel glamorous. Sometimes it'll feel lonely. Sometimes you'll miss them, even though you know they were toxic. That's normal. It's part of the detox, but you keep going anyway, because what's waiting on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that doesn't settle for breadcrumbs. That doesn't explain your boundaries. That doesn't shrink to fit someone else's insecurity. And look, they might try to come back. Not because they've changed, but because you have. Your growth is like a magnet. It draws people in. But you've got to remember, just because someone returns doesn't mean they deserve access. Growth means not only recognizing toxic patterns, but refusing to repeat them. So when they try to slide back into your life with charm and promises, you check in with your future self. You ask, does this serve the person I'm becoming? And if the answer's no, you keep moving forward. Eventually, you'll realize that the best revenge is not revenge at all. It's success. It's joy. It's being so immersed in your purpose, your healing, your happiness, that their opinion holds no weight. You don't need to prove anything. You just live fully, freely, authentically, and when they see that. When they see you're not broken, not bitter, not begging, that's the most confusing, disarming thing you could ever do. You rise, you rebuild, you grow so far beyond the person they once manipulated that they can't even reach you anymore. And that right there, that's how you win. Listen, you didn't deserve what they did, but you do deserve freedom. Confuse the narcissist not with revenge, but with your peace, your silence, and your unstoppable growth. That's how you win.